All right, y'all. This is probably the most important video I've ever made, and it's going to be unlike any other video I've ever made. I'm just going straight slideshow, very little editing, very little production because I have to get this to you today. I cannot live with this any longer. Today's the day. I've been teaching philosophy classes and independent studies, guided studies in topics ranging from just introductory courses, ethics, social and political philosophy, philosophy of mind, philosophy of language, philosophy of religion, and I'm sure there's some I'm leaving out, for 20 years. And every semester on day one, I tell people that if they work hard, if they're willing to question their own beliefs, if they're willing to follow the rules of logic and consider arguments for the appropriate use of evidence, and really dive deep into opposing viewpoints and questioning their own beliefs and everybody else's, they'll get smarter, they'll develop better critical thinking skills, and their beliefs will be better because they'll have better reasons for them. All of it was a total load of shit. It was a lie. I have to tell them that to keep them in the class for 15 weeks so the school gets the paycheck, so I get a paycheck. I could tell every student day one, here are the 5 easy steps to perfect beliefs. And today, I'm doing it for you for free. Let's go. 1. The rules of logic. You've probably heard about them. You might not know many of them, but rules of logic, inference, good arguments, validity, soundness, inductive and deductive inferences, logical structure and form of good arguments versus logical fallacies sorts of stuff, formal and informal fallacies, all of that stuff, put it in a bucket. You've got it. It's not a literal bucket. It's a hypothetical bucket. So you put that in a bucket. Then I want you to take rules of science evidence. All of the rules that you might have heard of, you probably don't understand, but no one really does. People just like to throw the rules around. Inference to the best explanation, probabilistic inferences, reliabilism, parsimony, simplicity, Occam's razor, anything having to do with anything that has governed the way people have used empirical evidence scientifically to make scientific progress, innovation, fly planes, develop antibiotics, build bridges, all of that stuff. Put that in the bucket too. So it's all in the bucket. This is the most important step. Find your friends. And they won't really be friends, but find the group of people who you can agree with and agree with you, or at least you can pretend to agree with. And then practice saying things that they applaud, that they validate you for, that they give you a like for, that they give you a heart for, that they tell you you're brilliant for. Practice saying those things and then look in this bucket and randomly pick out things that sound like they support your beliefs and use them. Don't use them consistently. Don't use them in a principled manner. Just use them to sound like you know what you're talking about. Use them around these friends you have, and you are going places. Now, one tip with regard to finding that group of friends, it's usually easier to start with a group of people you already know. So if you were raised in a certain church, or you go to a certain church, or you're a member of a certain political party, or you have a community or a group of people you know. If you're really active with the social justice warriors, you just became a social justice warrior. You are a progressive liberal, only say the things they agree with and do not question what you believe. If you're conservative, if you're a Christian conservative, if you're a MAGA Trump supporting conservative, only hang out with those people and only say the things that they love, like, share on your Facebook page. Here is where it gets really important for some of you. If you happen to encounter people outside of that group of friends, you have to criticize them with confidence. Don't try to engage in civil discussion. Don't try to ask questions about what they know. Don't try to figure out the best versions of the arguments they have for their beliefs or the support they have for their beliefs. You come in hard with a criticism and with confidence. You know what's up. If it's a YouTube page and someone is using a term or saying something that you haven't heard before, tell them they're wrong. They're using the word incorrectly. They're doing something wrong. Don't ask clarifying questions. Don't say, hey, I haven't heard that word used that way before. Can you explain to me why you're using it that way? Or don't say, hey, I'm not familiar with that idea. I always thought something different. Here's my argument. What do you think? You come in and you say, you're wrong. Here's why. Now, here's where it gets especially important. It's a top secret caveat that I cannot overstate the importance of. If you are a white dude and you let an opportunity to offer unsolicited criticism with absolute confidence pass you by, your genitalia will shrink. It will get smaller. Incrementally, but it will get smaller little by little. So if you're passing someone by, if you see a YouTube video, if you see a post that disagrees with what your friend group has decided is the right answer, you are obligated to jump in there and tell the person they're wrong and explain it to them. No civil discussion, just this is why you're wrong. Maybe call them a name. This is doubly important if the person you're criticizing is a woman. And it doesn't matter where it is. If it's in a classroom and they're your professor and they're an MD, PhD talking about exercise in a way that doesn't jive with what you and your homies, your bros at the gym know to be true, don't bother raising your hand. Just shout it out. Just be like, oh. And if she doesn't call on her, just say, yeah, that's wrong. That's wrong. Because your boy, Donnie, he's yoked and he does explosive reps to failure every single time. No controlled concentric. He's right. She's wrong. Why? He's on your team. Now, if you're a white man and you fail to offer unsolicited criticism with unjustified confidence to any woman out there, the shrinkage of your junk will be 3 times as much. It'll get 3 times smaller, 3 times as fast. So make sure every time, you gotta let that bitch know what's up. Lastly, really important, do your best to stay at home. You can manage any discussion about a contentious issue or debate way better from behind a keyboard. You can just come right in the comments section, come right in YouTube video, on Instagram. Tell people what's up and why they're wrong, and then don't consider anything that they say in response. Just keep doubling down. And then if it gets too annoying, you just leave. It's harder to do in the real world, for example, in the classroom I mentioned earlier, because she is going to fail you. You're going to get an F on the final. You might appeal it, but then you'll realize, oh my gosh, the textbook, the literature, everything agrees with her. If you stay home, you can maintain all of the beliefs you already have, selectively use principles of logic and evidence, but only use them if they sound good and get the people around you to cheer you on, and never, ever, ever worry about the truth. Ever. That's how to be perfect. That's how to have perfect beliefs. You're welcome for the gift of my time.